The Galactic Council chamber stretched endlessly upward, its crystalline walls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that reflected the anxiety of 1,000 species. Today's proceedings were unprecedented. For the first time in the Council's 12,000-year history, humanity stood trial not for war crimes or territorial violations, but for the question that had haunted the galaxy since first contact. Were humans truly sentient enough to join the Confederation? Anna sat in the defendant's pod, her small legs dangling above the floor, her worn sneakers catching the ambient light. At 8 years old, she was humanity's unlikely representative, chosen not by governments or generals, but by the cosmic lottery that had pulled her colony ship's distress beacon from the void. Beside her sat Oliver, her golden retriever, panting softly, his tail thumping against the translucent floor. The Council had deemed this pairing perfectly representative, a juvenile human and her domesticated companion species. What they didn't understand, what they couldn't possibly understand, would change everything. High Judge Calthor of the Vrexian Dominion presided over the proceedings, his 6 eyes arranged in a perfect hexagon across his elongated skull, each one independently analyzing every micro-expression, every chemical signal, every neural fluctuation in the courtroom. The Vrexians had evolved past emotion 3 million years ago. They saw the universe through pure logic, cold calculation, and mathematical certainty. The evidence is conclusive. Calthor's voice resonated through direct neural transmission, bypassing the need for crude sound waves. Humanity demonstrates pack bonding to an alarming degree. They form attachments to other species, subordinate species, and claim these bonds as meaningful. This is not cooperation. This is delusion. The Council murmured their agreement, a symphony of clicks, whistles, and electromagnetic pulses that Anna's translator could barely process. Ambassador Tarnix of the Sepulveda Coalition rose, her serpentine body coiling around her speaking platform. "The humans call it love," she said, her forked tongue tasting the word as if it were poison. "They claim emotional bonds make them stronger. But we have analyzed their history. These emotions drive them to war, to self-destruction, to irrational sacrifice. How can such a species be trusted with galactic citizenship?" Anna fidgeted in her seat. Oliver sensed her discomfort and pressed his head against her hand. She scratched behind his ears, the gesture automatic, instinctive, and utterly profound in ways the Council refused to acknowledge. The child forms attachment to a creature that cannot possibly reciprocate at her cognitive level, Calthor observed. The animal responds to training, to conditioned stimuli, nothing more. Yet the human attributes consciousness, emotion, and intentionality to these responses. This anthropomorphization indicates fundamental flaws in human perception and judgment. Anna's appointed defender, a human diplomat named Marcus Chen, stood to speak, but his words were drowned out by the Council's consensus. The verdict seemed inevitable. Humanity would be classified as a presentient species, quarantined to their solar system for another 1,000 years of development. Then Anna did something that changed galactic history. She looked down at Oliver, caught his eyes, and winked, a simple, deliberate gesture that her father had taught her years ago. Oliver's ears perked up. His tail stopped mid-wag. And then he did something extraordinary. He lifted his right paw and placed it gently on Anna's knee, not in trained obedience, but in response to a signal that meant something specific in their private language. A signal that meant, "I'm here. You're not alone." Calthor's 6 eyes suddenly focused as one, all directed at the girl and her dog. His consciousness, so carefully maintained in pure logic, experienced something it hadn't felt in eons. Surprise. "Stop!" His voice cut through the chamber like a knife through vacuum. "Stop the proceedings immediately." The Council fell silent. Calthor descended from his elevated platform, his movements deliberate and slow. He approached the defendant's pod, his ancient mind racing through calculations, probabilities, and impossibilities. "That signal," he said, speaking aloud now in audible frequencies for the first time anyone could remember. The child gave a non-verbal cue. The canine responded with a non-trained behavior. This was communication, bidirectional communication across species barriers. "Impossible," Ambassador Tarnix hissed. "The animal is trained. Nothing more." "No," Calthor's voice carried absolute certainty. "I monitored the neural patterns." The canine made a choice. It understood context. It demonstrated theory of mind. the recognition that another being possesses thoughts and feelings separate from its own. He turned to address the full council, his 6 eyes blazing with something that might have been excitement, might have been terror. We assumed humans anthropomorphize their companion species incorrectly. We were wrong. Humans don't project consciousness onto their companions. They cultivate it. They form genuine partnerships across evolutionary boundaries. They teach, learn, and grow together in ways we deemed impossible. Anna spoke for the first time, her voice small but steady. Oliver isn't my pet. He's my friend. We take care of each other. Calthor knelt before her, bringing his alien visage level with her human face. Child, do you understand what you've demonstrated? In all our travels across all the stars, we've never encountered a species that can form genuine cognitive partnerships with other species. Your people don't just bond. You elevate. You make those around you more than they were. He stood, addressing the council with renewed vigor. We asked the wrong question. We asked if humans were sentient enough to join us. We should have asked, are we wise enough to learn from them? The chamber erupted in debate, but Calthor raised a hand for silence. I moved to not only grant humanity full council membership, but to establish a new field of study: cross-species cognitive enhancement. If humans can forge bonds that transcend evolution itself, imagine what we might learn. Imagine what we might become. The vote was called. One by one, species that had existed for millions of years, that had explored thousands of worlds, voted to accept the guidance of a species barely out of its own atmosphere. As the council adjourned, Calthor approached Anna one final time. What did that signal mean? The one you gave your companion? Anna smiled, hugging Oliver close. It's our special code. It means we're in this together no matter what. Calthor's 6 eyes blinked in sequence, a Rexian gesture of deep respect. Perhaps, he said quietly, that is the most advanced philosophy in the galaxy. As Anna and Oliver left the council chambers, her hand resting on his head, his tail wagging with unrestrained joy, humanity took its first official step into the stars, not through superior technology or military might, but through the simple, revolutionary act of friendship. The galaxy would never be the same.